Procrastination is more than just a bad habit. It's a complex psychological behavior that affects millions. Picture this: you have a looming deadline, your heart races as the clock ticks down, yet you find yourself scrolling through social media instead of working. Why do we make these irrational choices? Studies show that around 20% of adults identify as chronic procrastinators. But the underlying reasons often stem from fear of failure, perfectionism, and even anxiety. A study by Dr. Joseph Ferrari at DePaul University highlighted that procrastination can be linked to fear of success or failure, creating a vicious cycle of avoidance. When you procrastinate, your brain is essentially attempting to shield you from feelings of inadequacy. Dr. Ferrari's research illustrated that these individuals frequently set unrealistically high expectations for themselves. When they fail to meet those, guilt sets in, leading to further procrastination. It's a damaging spiral. But there's more to it than just fear. Another study found that aversive tasks tend to activate our flight response. Tasks that seem uninteresting or mundane trigger immediate resistance, encouraging us to flee to more enjoyable distractions. Understanding this can empower you to change your approach. Consider the remarkable story of author Hal Elrod. He faced a near-fatal accident that left him in a coma. Instead of succumbing to despair, he used that experience to create the Miracle Morning routine, focusing on personal growth despite the procrastination he faced in the past. Elrod's journey emphasizes resilience and the human capacity to change. In knowing these psychological underpinnings, we can begin to unravel our own patterns. By recognizing that procrastination stems from deeper issues of fear and discomfort, we can prepare to combat these feelings head-on in our quest for improvement. But how do we actually start this journey? Stay tuned as we delve into effective strategies and tools that can help reduce procrastination for good. The cost of procrastination is multifaceted, affecting not just productivity but also mental health and relationships. When we delay important tasks, the repercussions can ripple outwards, impacting our careers and personal lives. According to a report from the American Psychological Association, chronic procrastination can lead to increased stress levels and negative health outcomes. Let's break this down with some real-world statistics. In a survey conducted by the productivity app, Rescue Time, 23% of workers admitted they believe procrastination is a significant barrier to their productivity. The fallout? Missed deadlines, decreased quality of work, and ultimately, lost opportunities. Imagine missing out on a promotion because you procrastinated on an important project. In the realm of mental health, procrastination has been linked to higher rates of anxiety and depression. Dr. Piers Steel, a leading researcher on the topic, found that procrastinators are more likely to report feelings of guilt and shame, which can exacerbate mental health issues. Consider the case of Jane, a talented graphic designer who consistently postponed her projects until the last minute. Despite her skills, she often missed deadlines. As the pressure built up, her anxiety worsened, affecting her sleep and personal relationships. Ultimately, Jane had to seek help to address her procrastination and its impact on her life. There's also a financial cost. According to a study from the University of Calgary, the average procrastinator loses nearly $100,000 in potential earnings over their lifetime. So, as you can see, procrastination isn't just a personal hurdle, it's a substantial barrier to success. In light of these consequences, we must ask ourselves, what are we truly sacrificing by procrastinating? This realization is a crucial first step in motivating change. In the next chapter, we'll dive into powerful strategies for overcoming procrastination, using methods backed by research that can lead you to a more productive and fulfilling life. Armed with the knowledge of what procrastination is and the toll it takes, it's time to explore strategies that can help you conquer this beast. One effective method is the Pomodoro technique. This time management system encourages you to work in short bursts of focused effort. You work hard for 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute break. This structure not only combats overwhelm but resets your focus repeatedly. Research by the University of Illinois shows that short bursts of productivity can enhance focus and lead to higher quality work. This technique reduces fatigue and can even make tasks feel less daunting. Imagine tackling that big project with a clear plan, breaking it down into manageable chunks. Another critical strategy lies in understanding and adjusting your environment. The right workspace can significantly mitigate procrastination. A cluttered desk, distracting notifications, or even uncomfortable furniture can lead to avoidance. Set up a dedicated workspace with minimal distractions, turning off non-essential notifications, and creating an atmosphere conducive to productivity. Consider the inspiring story of Jim Kwik, a brain coach who shares how he transformed his life from feeling like an underachiever to a thriving entrepreneur. He attributes much of his success to creating an environment that nurtures focus and learning. By minimizing distractions and intentionally surrounding himself with motivating materials, Kwik unlocked his potential. Additionally, employing visualization techniques can be incredibly powerful. Picture the completed task and the reward it brings. Studies in cognitive psychology suggest that visualizing success can increase motivation and reduce avoidance. Think about how accomplishing a task will feel. This mental rehearsal can be a game changer. Lastly, it's important to set realistic goals. The SMART goals framework, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, can provide clarity and direction. When goals feel attainable, motivation increases. Instead of saying, "I'll work on that report, try this, I will write the introduction to my report by 3 p.m. today." Making your goals concrete and specific can create accountability. Having explored these strategies, which one resonates with you the most? Remember, the journey to overcome procrastination isn't about perfection, it's about progress. In the next chapter, we'll discuss the role of accountability and community in overcoming procrastination. Accountability is a crucial component in overcoming procrastination. When we have someone to report to, we feel more inclined to complete our tasks. Research shows that people who share their goals with others are significantly more likely to achieve them. Consider platforms like StickK, where individuals set goals and put money on the line to maintain accountability. Users who have someone to check in with tend to report higher success rates and reduced procrastination. This sense of shared responsibility can be a potent driver, pushing you to take action when the motivation wanes. The psychological principle of social accountability plays a role here. Knowing that someone else is aware of your goals creates a sense of obligation. Let's look at the case of Sarah, who struggled with her fitness goals. By enlisting a friend as her workout buddy, they established a routine together. The duo motivated each other, making it harder to skip workouts. Their shared accountability improved their performance and turned their fitness journey into a shared experience. Similarly, workplace accountability can foster a culture of productivity. Teams that regularly check in on each other's progress are often more successful. A study from Harvard Business Review found that when teams held regular progress meetings, they decreased procrastination and improved overall efficiency. Using online platforms like Asana or Trello can also enhance visibility on tasks and objectives, promoting accountability even in remote work environments. When each team member can see the collective progress, it minimizes the likelihood of individual procrastination. However, it's essential to choose your accountability partners wisely. Effective partners are those who inspire and motivate you, not weigh you down with negativity. Think about who in your life can support you in holding your goals. In the next chapter, we'll delve into the importance of self-compassion in this journey. After all, beating procrastination is not about harsh self-criticism, it's about understanding and forgiving ourselves so we can move forward. As we navigate the journey of overcoming procrastination, the importance of self-compassion cannot be overstated. This concept is more than just kindness to oneself, it's about recognizing our struggles and embracing them without harsh self-judgment. Research from Dr. Kristen Neff, a pioneer in self-compassion studies, shows that having self-compassion can significantly enhance motivation and resilience. When we are kind to ourselves, we are more likely to bounce back from setbacks and take action on our goals. This is essential when the cycle of procrastination leads to feelings of shame and guilt. Self-compassion consists of 3 core components: self-kindness, common humanity, and mindfulness. Self-kindness encourages treating ourselves as we would a close friend, while common humanity reminds us that everyone struggles. Finally, mindfulness involves being aware of our thoughts and feelings without exaggeration or denial. Imagine you missed an important deadline. Instead of spiraling into self-criticism, you acknowledge your feelings and remind yourself that everyone faces challenges. This shift in mindset fosters resilience and empowers you to start afresh without the weight of guilt. One powerful practice to cultivate self-compassion is writing a letter to yourself as if you were writing to a friend facing the same challenges. This letter can help you articulate your feelings and offer support without judgment. It's a transformative exercise that can pave the way for a more positive relationship with ourselves, especially in moments of failure. Consider the case of Mark, an entrepreneur who faced repeated failures in his business ventures. Instead of giving in to despair, he began practicing self-compassion, recognizing his efforts and being gentle with himself. This change in perspective allowed him to learn from his mistakes and eventually create a successful startup. As we transition into the next chapter, let's reflect on how self-compassion can be a game changer in our productivity journey. Up next, we'll explore the role of habit formation in overcoming procrastination and how changing small habits can lead to significant accomplishments. Imagine standing at a crossroads, burdened by a weight, a voice echoing in your mind, urging you to take action. But why do we often choose the path of least resistance? At the heart of procrastination lies a complex interplay of our brain's wiring, influencing our behavior in profound ways. Researchers have dedicated countless hours unraveling the neuroscience behind this common phenomenon. First, let's consider the role of the prefrontal cortex, responsible for decision-making and impulse control. This region works like a conductor of an orchestra, coordinating our thoughts and actions. Yet, when the pressure mounts, the prefrontal cortex can falter, leading to procrastination. A study published in the journal Cognitive, Affective, and Behavioral Neuroscience found that individuals who procrastinate tend to have lower activity in their prefrontal cortex, which correlates with a higher tendency for impulsive decisions. It's as if our brains are programmed to avoid the discomfort of starting a task, reverting instead to immediate gratification. But what about the role of dopamine, the chemical released during pleasurable activities? Procrastination may not just be about avoidance but also the pursuit of reward. Tasks that seem daunting or unenjoyable can lead to a decrease in dopamine release, making their completion feel less rewarding. This creates a vicious cycle. We delay the task, experience a temporary rush of relief, yet feel worse in the long run. Consider the case of John, a talented artist who wanted to showcase his work but continually pushed back deadlines. After researching its effects, he learned that his brain craved the excitement of the final product rather than the grueling process of creating. By setting smaller, rewarding goals during the creation process, he began to produce his work consistently. Furthermore, research from the University of Vermont reveals that brain imaging shows procrastinators have less connectivity in the neural network involved in self-control. As a result, they struggle to align short-term desires with long-term goals. This disparity sheds light on why some individuals can effectively manage their time while others succumb to distractions. Understanding this neuroscience provides not only clarity but also a sense of empowerment. When we grasp the biological mechanisms of our actions, we can devise strategies that cater to our brain's existing wiring. Techniques like breaking tasks into smaller segments can create a dopamine boost with each completed segment, effectively reshaping our reward system. As we finish examining the brain's role in procrastination, it's worth asking, can we rewire our brains to improve our productivity? The answer, it turns out, is a resounding yes. This leads us seamlessly into our next chapter, where we explore practical techniques for rewiring our habits and enhancing productivity. How many times have you found yourself overwhelmed by an ever-growing to-do list, feeling like there's never enough time? The truth is, effective time management is a skill that can empower us to combat procrastination. But what strategies truly work? One of the most widely adopted methods is the Pomodoro technique, developed by Francesco Cirillo in the late 1980s. The principle is simple: work for 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute break. After completing 4 cycles, you take a longer break of 15 to 30 minutes. This method capitalizes on the brain's natural focus patterns while preventing burnout. Research published in the Journal of Educational Psychology supports the effectiveness of this technique, showing that students who used structured time intervals were able to concentrate better and accomplish more than those who worked in less structured environments. One student, Lisa, struggled with procrastination due to her tendency to get distracted by social media. Implementing the Pomodoro technique not only increased her productivity but also reduced her stress levels. Another powerful approach is the Eisenhower Matrix, named after President Dwight D. Eisenhower, who famously said, "What is important is seldom urgent, and what is urgent is seldom important." This matrix helps you prioritize tasks based on urgency and importance, allowing you to focus on what truly matters. When applying this method, you categorize tasks into 4 quadrants: important and urgent, important but not urgent, not important but urgent, and neither important nor urgent. This separation clarifies where to invest time and effort, as many of us waste hours on tasks that do not contribute toward our larger goals. Then there's the 2-minute rule, popularized by David Allen's productivity system, getting things done. This rule states that if a task takes less than 2 minutes to complete, do it immediately. This small action can create a sense of accomplishment that builds momentum for tackling larger tasks. Finally, let's discuss the concept of time blocking. Instead of a traditional to-do list, you allocate specific time slots in your calendar to work on tasks. This method offers an enhanced structure to your day and minimizes distractions. Take Michael, a project manager who struggled with procrastination. By time blocking his days, he could visualize how each hour was spent, and over time, he reported improved focus and a significant reduction in procrastination behavior. As we explore these time management techniques, it's important to acknowledge that they require practice and adaptation. Just as no 2 individuals are alike, our time management strategies should be personalized. The goal is to discover what resonates with you, a blend of methods that aligns with your unique style. As we conclude this chapter, the question remains: are you ready to take control of your time? Our next chapter introduces the role of environmental factors in overcoming procrastination, a crucial element in our journey towards productivity. Have you ever noticed how your surroundings can impact your focus and motivation? The truth is, our environment plays a significant role in either fueling procrastination or enhancing productivity. Consider the psychology of space. A cluttered and disorganized workspace can lead to a cluttered mind, making it harder to focus on tasks. Research from Princeton University Neuroscience Institute found that multiple stimuli in the environment compete for your attention, resulting in decreased performance. One effective strategy to combat this is to create a productive environment. This can involve minimalistic setups, decluttering your desk, or creating designated spaces for specific tasks. For instance, Emily, a graduate student, found that by transforming her chaotic workspace into a clean, organized area, she tripled her focus and reduced procrastination significantly. Moreover, lighting and sound can significantly influence our productivity levels. Natural light exposure has been linked to improved mood and energy levels, while loud environments can lead to increased distractions. Try experimenting with different settings to find what helps you concentrate best, perhaps a quiet library or a lively cafe. Next, let's talk about social environments. Surrounding yourself with motivated, productive individuals can create a positive feedback loop. A study from the University of Southern California showed that individuals are more likely to adopt productive habits when they are in the presence of high achievers. This phenomenon is often referred to as the social contagion effect. Consider joining study groups or accountability partners who can elevate your performance. This also reinforces the idea we discussed in Chapter 4 about accountability. Being around others can push you to stick to your goals more diligently. Additionally, the ambience of your surroundings can enhance or inhibit motivation. For example, incorporating plants or calming colors can create a more inviting atmosphere, improving your overall mood. Look into how you can change your space to reflect positivity and creativity. As we wrap up this chapter, think about the environment you are currently working in. Is it helping or hindering your progress? The final chapter will synthesize all we've learned on overcoming procrastination, offering actionable steps you can take towards a more productive life. Have you ever tried to break a bad habit only to find yourself slipping back into old patterns? The journey to overcoming procrastination is also a journey towards building lasting habits. To begin, it's crucial to understand the habit loop, a concept developed by Charles Duhigg in his book, The Power of Habit. This loop consists of three components: cue, routine, and reward. Recognizing this structure can be the first step to transformation. Let's break it down. The cue triggers your brain to initiate a behavior, the routine is the behavior itself, and the reward is the benefit you gain from the behavior. When addressing procrastination, consider what cues lead you to avoid tasks. Is it stress, fatigue, or perhaps fear of failure? Identifying these cues is critical. Next, we need to replace the routine with a healthier habit. Instead of scrolling through social media when feeling overwhelmed, perhaps you could take a short walk or practice mindfulness for a few minutes. By engaging in healthier alternatives, you can forge new pathways in your brain, reinforcing productive behaviors. To further reinforce these new habits, it's important to establish a reward system. This doesn't have to be extravagant. Small rewards, like enjoying a favorite snack or taking time to watch a show after completing a task, can provide immediate gratification that helps solidify these habits over time. Moreover, accountability plays a necessary role in habit formation. By sharing your goals with others, you increase your commitment. Studies have shown that individuals who engage in group accountability outperform those who work solo. So, consider joining a network or a community focused on collective growth. James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, emphasizes the importance of starting small. He advocates for the 2-minute rule for habit formation. Make starting a new habit easy. If you want to read more, just open a book and read one page. The key is to focus on consistency rather than intensity. Over time, these small actions can lead to significant change. In conclusion, building lasting habits is a transformative process that requires time, patience, and commitment. As we prepare to enter our final chapter, reflect on the habits you have in place. Are they helping or hindering your productivity? The journey doesn't end here, it evolves into practical actions that adapt to your life. So, after all we've discussed, how do we ensure that the changes we've made stick? The answer lies in crafting a sustainable plan for the future. Firstly, self-reflection is vital. Take time to analyze your journey with procrastination, what strategies worked, and what didn't. Keeping a journal can be an invaluable tool for this process, allowing you to document your progress, setbacks, and emotional responses. Setting clear, achievable goals is essential for sustaining your newfound productivity. SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, can provide clarity and direction. For instance, instead of saying, "I want to be more productive," a SMART goal would be, "I will work on my project for 2 hours every weekday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. As you develop this plan, incorporate flexibility. Life is unpredictable, and the ability to adapt is crucial. Understand that setbacks may occur, and that's okay. What matters is how you respond and adjust your approach moving forward. Consider utilizing tools such as productivity apps, timers, and calendars that can aid in maintaining organization. These tools can simplify your planning process and keep you accountable. Further, nurture a supportive environment as you move forward. Surround yourself with individuals who motivate and uplift you. Engage in communities that focus on growth, whether that means joining a professional group, a club, or finding an online forum. Lastly, remember to celebrate your progress. Acknowledging achievements, no matter how small, reinforces positive behavior. Consider rewarding yourself after reaching milestones. This not only reinforces positive habits but also fosters a sense of fulfillment. As we conclude this journey of overcoming procrastination, remember that the path is personal and unique to each individual. The tools and techniques discussed equip you to take charge of your productivity. Procrastination may still rear its head, but equipped with knowledge and strategies, you'll be prepared to face it head-on. In a world that constantly demands our attention, the ability to focus on what matters is a true superpower. As you move forward, embrace your potential, harness your creativity, and become the best version of yourself. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of procrastination. Remember, every step you take towards overcoming procrastination is a step towards becoming the person you aspire to be. Fear and anxiety can be powerful forces that lead us to procrastinate. According to a 2016 study conducted at the University of Cyprus, researchers found that fear-based procrastination was linked to an avoidance of negative emotions associated with tasks. This chapter delves into the intricate relationship between fear and procrastination, exploring how our emotional responses can sabotage our productivity. Let's begin by understanding the different types of fears that can trigger procrastination. One common fear is the fear of failure. It often paralyzes individuals, making them hesitant to start or complete tasks. For instance, consider the story of Sarah, a talented painter who dreamed of showcasing her art in a gallery. Despite her skills, every time she sat down to paint, a wave of anxiety washed over her, fear of judgment and failure loomed large. This fear led Sarah to procrastinate, spending hours scrolling through social media instead of tapping into her creative potential. Another pervasive fear is the fear of success. While it may seem paradoxical, the prospect of success can bring about its own set of anxieties. The pressure to maintain newfound achievements can be daunting. A study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology highlights that individuals with a fear of success often procrastinate to avoid the responsibility that comes with it. Take, for example, John, a promising entrepreneur. His startup gained traction, but as the company flourished, he began delaying critical decisions, fearing he wouldn't be able to handle the increased scrutiny that success brought. Anxiety about evaluation, too, contributes to procrastination. Students often experience this during exam season. A 2018 survey from the American Psychological Association found that 45% of students faced significant anxiety, impacting their study habits. This chapter explores various anxiety management techniques to combat procrastination. Techniques like mindfulness and cognitive behavioral strategies can help individuals confront their fears. Engaging in mindfulness practices allows one to observe their thoughts without judgment, creating a sense of distance from anxiety. In closing this chapter, it's essential to recognize that addressing the root causes of fear and anxiety can lead to significant progress in overcoming procrastination. As we move forward, we'll investigate the role of motivation and how to harness it in our daily lives. Perfectionism and procrastination are two sides of the same coin. Many individuals grapple with the notion that they must meet impossibly high standards, leading to a cycle of procrastination. According to research published in the journal Personality and Individual Differences, perfectionists are more likely to delay tasks due to fear of not meeting their own high expectations. Let's explore how perfectionism manifests in everyday life. Take Emily, for instance. As a graduate student, she often found herself staring at a blank page, paralyzed by the thought that her thesis needed to be flawless. Instead of writing, she would spend hours researching, tweaking outlines, or even cleaning her room, anything to avoid the daunting task at hand. This is a classic example of how the desire to be perfect can lead to procrastination. The fear of imperfection can result in a procrastination trap, where the individual convinces themselves that they'll only start working when the conditions are perfect. Psychologist Dr. Barbara Markway suggests that perfectionists often struggle with self-doubt. This leads to a reluctance to begin or complete tasks. The irony is that striving for perfection can inhibit progress altogether. This chapter focuses on manageable strategies for overcoming perfectionist tendencies. Firstly, recognizing that perfection is an impossible standard can be liberating. Instead, aim for excellence, which allows room for growth and imperfection. This concept is echoed in the words of renowned author Anne Lamott, who stated, "Perfectionism is the voice of the oppressor." Moreover, embracing the concept of good enough can significantly reduce pressure and encourage progress. Additionally, setting time limits and breaking tasks into smaller, more achievable goals can help individuals take those first steps forward. We must remind ourselves that the journey toward completion is often more important than the final outcome. In summary, while perfectionism can fuel procrastination, recognizing this connection allows individuals to break the cycle. Next, we will delve into the aspect of motivation, understanding what drives us to act or, in some cases, not act. In our modern, technology-driven world, the very devices we rely on can often be double-edged swords. On one hand, they provide an endless source of distraction. On the other, they offer powerful tools to combat procrastination. This chapter examines how to harness technology to enhance productivity, rather than hinder it. Let's consider the widespread phenomenon of smartphone use. A study by the Pew Research Center indicated that 81% of U.S. adults own a smartphone, which has dramatically changed how we interact with time and productivity. Notifications, social media, and endless apps can easily derail our focus. To illustrate this, imagine Jake, a college student who frequently missed deadlines because of the constant distractions from his phone. However, technology can also be our ally. Various apps are designed specifically to help individuals stay on task and manage their time effectively. Tools like Focus at Will, Trello, and Todoist have revolutionized how we approach our daily responsibilities. For instance, the Pomodoro technique, which involves working for 25 minutes followed by a 5-minute break, can be effectively implemented using timers on our devices. Research demonstrates that this method can increase focus and productivity significantly. Moreover, leveraging blocking apps, such as Forest or Freedom, can help reduce the temptation to drift into distraction. These applications create an environment conducive to concentration, helping users resist the lure of social media and mindless browsing. Consider the case of Lisa, a writer who struggled to maintain focus amidst countless distractions. By using these blocking apps, she reclaimed her time and transformed her writing habits. It's also essential to curate your digital environment. Organize your workspace by removing clutter from your desktop or phone home screen. This can influence your mental clarity and productivity levels. Studies have shown that a tidy digital space can have a positive effect on focus and performance. In conclusion, while technology often presents distractions that lead to procrastination, it can also serve as a powerful ally in our productivity journey. By understanding how to effectively use technology, we can transform our devices from time-sucking black holes into productivity-enhancing tools. As we transition into the next chapter, we will examine the importance of motivation and accountability in sustaining our progress. Motivation can often feel like a fleeting emotion, one that seems to elude us especially when we need it most. But what if we told you that understanding the foundation of motivation could be key to overcoming procrastination? Let's dive deeper into this complex aspect of our psychological makeup. First, let's unpack what motivation really is. According to psychologists, motivation is the process that initiates, guides, and maintains goal-oriented behaviors. It's what compels us to take action. There are two primary types of motivation: intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic motivation comes from within, driven by personal satisfaction or the joy of completing a task. On the other hand, extrinsic motivation involves external rewards, such as money, praise, or recognition. Research shows that intrinsic motivation often leads to deeper satisfaction. For instance, a study published in the journal Psychological Science found that individuals who pursue goals for personal reasons tend to exhibit higher levels of persistence. This raises a crucial question for those who struggle with procrastination. Are your goals aligned with your intrinsic motivations? Consider the story of Sarah, a college student who continually put off her studies. Initially, she believed she was motivated by the desire to graduate with honors. However, through introspection and self-reflection, Sarah discovered that her true passion lay in creative writing, not in her prescribed major. Once she began pursuing this passion, her procrastination faded, as her intrinsic motivation spurred her to act. This transition illustrates the impact of understanding one's motivation. To harness the power of motivation effectively, it's essential to set clear and meaningful goals. Research indicates that SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, can promote clearer focus and drive motivation. For example, rather than stating, "I want to get fit," a SMART goal would be, "I will go to the gym 3 times a week for the next month." This specificity creates a structure that can combat feelings of being overwhelmed, which often lead to procrastination. But there's more to motivation than simply setting goals. The environment plays a significant role, too. Studies in environmental psychology suggest that our surroundings can influence our motivation and productivity levels. For instance, a cluttered environment can lead to stress and distraction, increasing the likelihood of procrastination. In contrast, a clean and organized workspace can foster a sense of calm and focus, encouraging us to take action. Furthermore, accountability can ramp up motivation. Research shows that sharing your goals with others can significantly increase the likelihood of achievement. One compelling study found that 70% of participants who shared their goals with a friend reached them, compared to only 35% who did not. So, do you have an accountability partner? As we explore the nuances of motivation, it's essential to recognize that both intrinsic and extrinsic factors can work together to help combat procrastination. The key is finding the right balance between the two and leveraging them to foster a productive mindset. Next, we'll examine the role of identity in motivation. Can you really change who you are meant to be in order to overcome the patterns of procrastination? Stay tuned as we delve into this intriguing connection. In our fast-paced world, distractions are everywhere, making it easy to retreat into procrastination. But what if a simple practice could change that? What if mindfulness could be the antidote to procrastination? Let's explore the transformative effects of mindfulness on our ability to stay focused and act. Mindfulness, at its core, is the practice of being present in the moment, aware of your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Research has shown that mindfulness can enhance our attention span, reduce stress, and even improve emotional regulation, all vital components in overcoming procrastination. A study published in the journal Psychological Science found that individuals who practiced mindfulness reported lower levels of procrastination in academic settings. Mindfulness meditation encourages us to acknowledge thoughts of procrastination without engaging with them, allowing us to break the cycle of avoidance that leads to delaying tasks. For example, let's take the journey of John, a writer who struggled with completing his manuscript. He often found himself scrolling through social media rather than facing the blank page. After a friend introduced him to mindfulness meditation, John began dedicating just 10 minutes a day to practice. He found that this simple act helped clear his mind and center his thoughts. Gradually, he became more aware of the urge to procrastinate and learned to replace avoidance with action. Mindfulness encourages self-awareness, which is crucial in recognizing the triggers behind procrastination. For instance, you might notice that you tend to procrastinate when faced with overwhelming tasks. By practicing mindfulness, you can learn to identify these moments and develop strategies to address them more effectively. Moreover, mindfulness helps us manage the emotional responses that often surround procrastination, such as fear of failure or perfectionism. These emotions can paralyze us, leading to a cycle of avoidance. When you practice mindfulness, you learn to observe these feelings without letting them dictate your actions. Studies have shown that individuals who regularly practice mindfulness report reduced anxiety levels and increased task engagement. Another interesting aspect of mindfulness is its potential to increase self-compassion. When we approach our tasks mindfully, we are kinder to ourselves about our performance. This shift in perspective can lead to increased motivation as we become less afraid of making mistakes. To incorporate mindfulness into your daily routine, try techniques such as mindful breathing or body scans. These practices can help ground you and create a state of calm that is conducive to productivity. As you become more skilled at mindfulness, you will find that you are better equipped to tackle procrastination head-on. In conclusion, the impact of mindfulness on procrastination is profound and multifaceted. By embracing a mindful approach, we can enhance our awareness, manage our emotions, and develop a kinder, more compassionate relationship with ourselves. Next, we will delve into how creating a supportive community can significantly influence our success in overcoming procrastination. The power of connection can sometimes be the missing piece of the puzzle. Stay tuned to learn more about that. Imagine this: you're struggling to finish a project, and despite your best efforts, procrastination pulls you in its clutches. Now, picture a group of supportive individuals rallying around you, encouraging you, and holding you accountable. Would that change the game? Today, we're exploring the powerful role of community in overcoming procrastination. Research in psychology suggests that social support can significantly impact our ability to achieve our goals. A study published in the Journal of Applied Psychology points to how social encouragement can enhance performance and decrease procrastination. The more connected we feel to others, the more accountable we become for our actions. Consider the story of Lily, a graphic designer who faced chronic procrastination. She often found herself delaying projects until the last minute, resulting in stress and lower quality work. However, when she joined a local creative group, everything changed. The members of this group held weekly meetings to discuss their progress and provide support. Lily found that sharing her goals with the group instilled a sense of responsibility. When she committed to sharing her progress, she felt more motivated to work on her projects. In fact, studies show that individuals who engage in group goal setting achieve their objectives more frequently than those working alone. It's the power of collective momentum. Additionally, the sharing of struggles and victories within a community creates a sense of belonging. When we realize that we are not alone in our battles against procrastination, we become more resilient. This sense of belonging can create a safety net that encourages us to venture outside our comfort zones, try new things, and tackle the projects we've been avoiding. Peer accountability can also drive our commitment to act. When we see others taking action, it can spark a fire within us. Observing fellow group members achieving their goals can instill a belief that we can do the same. This is often referred to as the social comparison theory, where individuals determine their own social and personal worth based on how they stack up against others. Consider the concept of study buddies. Many students find that pairing up with someone else creates a productive atmosphere. This strategy transforms the act of studying from a solitary endeavor to a shared experience, often leading to increased motivation and reduced procrastination. Moreover, fostering a supportive community extends beyond just accountability. It creates a network for sharing tips, resources, and coping strategies. In a community setting, individuals can exchange ideas on tools and techniques that have worked for them, broadening everyone's toolkit for success. Research indicates that groups can facilitate the sharing of best practices and lessons learned, ultimately reducing the likelihood of procrastination across the board. In conclusion, the role of community in overcoming procrastination cannot be overstated. By fostering connections, providing accountability, and encouraging individuals to strive for their goals together, we create an environment that is conducive to action and motivation. In our next chapter, we will look at the importance of self-reflection in understanding our procrastination habits. Join us as we uncover the layers of introspection that can lead to transformative growth. Procrastination can often be a symptom of deeper emotional struggles, especially fear and anxiety. These feelings can be paralyzing, leading to a cycle that feels impossible to break. But what causes us to procrastinate due to fear? Imagine standing at the edge of a diving board, looking down into the water below. Your palms are sweaty, your heart races, and the thought of jumping fills you with dread. For many, this metaphor encapsulates the feeling of facing a daunting task. The fear of failure, the anxiety of judgment, and the pressure of expectations can lead to avoidance behaviors that manifest as procrastination. Research indicates that fear and anxiety affect our brain's ability to focus. The amygdala, the part of our brain that processes emotions, can trigger a fight or flight response when we perceive a threat. Unfortunately, that threat can come from just the thought of completing a project or meeting a deadline. A study published in the journal Behavior Research and Therapy found that individuals who experience chronic procrastination often report high levels of anxiety about their performance and the potential outcomes of their work. Take the story of Sarah, a recent college graduate who found herself putting off job applications. The moment she sat down to write her resume, panic would set in. What if no one wanted to hire her? What if she wasn't qualified? These thoughts spiraled, leading her to spend hours mindlessly scrolling through social media instead. A vicious cycle of avoidance ensued. Understanding the connection between procrastination and fear can be a revelation. It allows individuals to confront the underlying issues instead of just the behavior itself. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, is one approach that helps identify these patterns. By reframing negative thoughts, individuals can start to reduce their anxiety. For example, instead of thinking, "I will fail," Sarah learned to tell herself, "I will learn from the experience, regardless of the outcome." Overcoming the influence of fear and anxiety on procrastination is not easy, but it begins with acknowledging these feelings. Techniques such as mindfulness meditation can help calm the mind and allow for greater focus on the task at hand. Mindfulness encourages us to observe our thoughts without judgment, which can alleviate some of the pressure we place on ourselves. As a result, tackling challenging tasks becomes less daunting. Furthermore, research has shown that breaking tasks into smaller, manageable steps can significantly reduce anxiety. The act of completing a smaller task can create a sense of accomplishment, reducing the fear associated with the larger task. This creates a positive feedback loop that enhances motivation. However, it is vital to recognize that fear and anxiety will not disappear completely. Instead, we should learn to coexist with these emotions and take action despite them. The more we practice facing our fears, the less power they hold over us. Imagine a world where fear does not dictate your actions. That is the goal, and it begins with small steps every day. As we delve deeper into the psychology of procrastination, consider your relationship with fear. What tasks have you avoided because they felt overwhelming? By examining these instances, you can begin to unravel the emotional knots that bind you to procrastination. Welcome to the journey of self-discovery. But what happens when our procrastination isn't just about fear? What if it's intricately tied to our self-worth? Let's explore the next chapter. Perfectionism is often thought of as a positive trait, the drive to do everything to the best of one's ability. However, for many, it can lead to crippling procrastination. Perfectionism creates a paradox where the desire for excellence hinders progress altogether. When striving for perfection, the fear of making mistakes or delivering anything less than ideal becomes overwhelming. The thought of not meeting one's own exceedingly high standards can paralyze individuals, causing them to postpone tasks. This is particularly evident in students and professionals who feel that the slightest misstep could derail their future. A study conducted by researchers at the University of Bath found that perfectionists tend to procrastinate more, as they are often worried about not achieving their envisioned perfect outcome. Consider the story of Mark, a talented graphic designer. When tasked with a major project, instead of diving in, he spent endless hours tweaking the smallest details. The result? He missed the deadline entirely. Mark's fear of producing something that didn't meet his standards kept him from making any meaningful progress. He felt stuck, and the weight of his own expectations became a barrier to his success. Perfectionism can be broadly categorized into two types, adaptive and maladaptive. Adaptive perfectionism drives individuals to achieve high standards while maintaining a healthy level of self-compassion. In contrast, maladaptive perfectionism leads to excessive self-criticism and procrastination. Distinguishing between the two is crucial for tackling procrastination. Learning to manage perfectionism involves reframing expectations and understanding that perfection is a myth. Setting realistic goals can alleviate some of the pressure. Instead of aiming for a flawless product, one can work towards completing a functional version and then iteratively improving it. This philosophy is often referred to as. In today's digital age, technology plays a dual role in our lives. It is both a tool that can enhance productivity and a source of distraction that fuels procrastination. The key lies in knowing how to leverage technology effectively to combat procrastination rather than succumb to its pitfalls. Many individuals find themselves trapped in a cycle of scrolling through social media or binge-watching shows instead of completing important tasks. In fact, a study by the Pew Research Center found that 94% of young adults reported that they use their smartphones for non-essential tasks, scrolling through social media being the most common distraction. However, with the right strategies, technology can be turned into an ally. One effective way to manage technology is by utilizing productivity apps. Apps like Todoist or Trello help individuals organize their tasks and set deadlines. By breaking down projects into smaller, actionable tasks, users can create a sense of accomplishment as they check items off their lists. This builds momentum and can deter procrastination. Pairing these tools with reminders can ensure that tasks remain top of mind. Additionally, using techniques such as the Pomodoro technique, where individuals work for 25 minutes and then take a short break, can help maintain focus. During these work sessions, turning off notifications and silencing phones can minimize distractions and allow for deeper concentration. Tools such as Forest, which gamifies the productivity process by growing virtual trees for time spent working, add a fun element to staying focused. Take the example of Jess, a graduate student overwhelmed by coursework. She realized that her smartphone was a significant source of distraction. By installing productivity apps and setting strict limits on her social media use, she turned her focus back to her studies. She discovered that by blocking out distractions, she could work for longer periods, increasing her productivity and decreasing her stress. However, it's crucial to remember that technology is only as effective as the user. Mindfulness in how we engage with technology is fundamental. Are we using it to enhance our lives, or is it a tool for escapism? By regularly assessing our digital habits, we can determine whether they serve our goals or hinder our progress. It's fascinating to think that the same device that can take us down the rabbit hole of endless content can also help us achieve our dreams if we navigate it wisely. In the age of information overload, cultivating disciplined technology use is essential for combating procrastination. As we proceed, let's explore how building a supportive community can further enhance our fight against this pervasive habit. What role do the people around you play in your productivity? Let's discover the impactful influence of community in the next chapter. Motivation is a complex psychological construct that plays a crucial role in understanding procrastination. Imagine waking up every morning with a long list of tasks, from work responsibilities to personal projects, yet feeling an overwhelming urge to scroll through social media instead. This compulsive behavior has roots deeply embedded in our psychological makeup. Studies show that motivation is not just about willpower, it's a cocktail of intrinsic and extrinsic drivers that propels us to take action. Intrinsic motivation comes from within. It's the joy of pursuing a passion or the satisfaction of completing a task for personal reasons. Extrinsic motivation is driven by external factors, rewards, deadlines, or the fear of consequences. It is essential to understand these two types of motivation when it comes to overcoming procrastination. When we rely solely on extrinsic motivators, we may find ourselves in a constant push-impulse situation, where the desire to avoid pain often outweighs the need to pursue pleasure. Let's take the story of Dan, a budding author. For years, he dreamed of writing a novel. However, despite having the dedication to write, he found himself procrastinating endlessly. Why? Dan was not just struggling with a lack of time, he was also caught in a cycle of fear and anxiety about the outcome. The pressure to succeed created a barrier to intrinsic motivation. One day, after a particularly frustrating episode of procrastination, he decided to change his approach. Instead of setting a monumental goal of writing a full novel, he began focusing on the joy of writing itself. He made a pact with himself to write just one paragraph a day. This small act sparked joy and rekindled his intrinsic motivation. Before he knew it, the paragraphs began to pile up, and he was on his way to completing his first draft. Dan's story is a testament to how shifting your focus from the end goal to the process can reignite your motivation and fight off procrastination. Research supports Dan's approach. A study conducted by psychologists at the University of California found that individuals who find personal meaning in their tasks are less likely to procrastinate. By connecting with the intrinsic value of what we're doing, we can create a more compelling reason to tackle our responsibilities head-on. Much like Dan, if we can uncover what excites and inspires us, we can wave goodbye to procrastination. Moreover, fostering a supportive environment that promotes motivation can help mitigate procrastination. Whether it's finding a study buddy, joining a support group, or simply sharing goals with friends, having accountability partners can amplify intrinsic motivation. The social aspect plays a pivotal role. Our human tendency to seek validation and connection can push us toward completing tasks together. Let's explore the powerful concept of motivation sequences, an idea introduced by psychologist Barbara Fredrickson. This concept suggests that specific sequences of motivation can trigger a cascade of positive feelings, leading to increased productivity. For example, integrating small celebrations for achieved milestones creates positive feedback loops that further fuel motivation. Understanding how the brain responds to positive reinforcement is insightful in the quest to overcoming procrastination. In summary, nurturing intrinsic motivation, embracing supportive environments, and creating positive reinforcement sequences can lead to a significant decrease in procrastination. However, the journey is not linear. Next, we will delve into the transformative impact of mindfulness in combating procrastination, a method that paves the way for mental clarity and focus. Mindfulness has emerged as a powerful tool in modern psychology, with its potential to decrease procrastination being particularly noteworthy. Mindfulness is defined as the practice of being present in the moment, paying attention to thoughts, emotions, and sensations without judgment. This simple yet profound practice can have far-reaching effects on our ability to tackle tasks and manage time effectively. Research indicates that mindfulness can help us become more aware of the underlying thoughts and feelings that drive procrastination. One study published in the journal Personality and Individual Differences demonstrated that individuals who practiced mindfulness reported lower levels of procrastination and higher levels of self-regulation. This means that by cultivating awareness, we can identify the negative thought patterns that lead to procrastination and address them directly. Consider Sarah, a college student who struggled with chronic procrastination. Every semester, she found herself cramming for exams and rushing through assignments at the last minute. Frustrated by her habits, Sarah enrolled in a mindfulness workshop. Over a few weeks, she learned techniques to observe her thoughts without getting caught up in them, transforming her relationship with procrastination. Through mindfulness meditation, Sarah began to notice when feelings of anxiety crept in, usually prompting her procrastination behaviors. By recognizing these feelings as temporary rather than permanent, she developed a more compassionate view of herself. Instead of succumbing to procrastination, she started taking small steps toward her goals. This shift in perspective allowed Sarah to embrace her tasks, transforming daunting assignments into manageable milestones. The practice of mindfulness encourages a non-judgmental attitude towards oneself, fostering self-compassion. When we face procrastination, it's easy to fall into a cycle of blame and self-criticism. But mindfulness teaches us to accept our imperfections and approach ourselves with kindness. A study conducted by the University of California found that self-compassion is strongly associated with decreased procrastination. When we practice self-kindness, we are more likely to confront tasks rather than avoid them. Furthermore, mindfulness meditation helps enhance focus and concentration. When we are present in the moment, we channel our energy into the task at hand, reducing distractions that often fuel procrastination. Imagine sitting down to work with a clear mind, free from the noise of external stimuli, allowing each task to unfold without resistance. This mental clarity fosters a sense of empowerment, enabling us to approach our responsibilities with renewed vigor. Incorporating mindfulness into our daily routines doesn't require hours of meditation. Simple techniques like mindful breathing, body scans, or even mindful walking can significantly enhance our awareness. These practices can be seamlessly integrated into our busy lives, creating opportunities to pause and reset. As we conclude this exploration of mindfulness and its role in combating procrastination, it's evident that cultivating awareness is a key ingredient in breaking the cycle. In the following chapter, we will shift our focus to the role of community in overcoming procrastination. How does our social environment influence our habits? What kind of support networks can help us stay accountable? Let's unravel these questions together.